Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
Incredible stuff. So that's great news for the Shannon Speed Series with our major sponsor backing us for the next couple of years at least. So take a look at this for a sight, folks. The Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia cars lining up alongside the Kumho TCR World Tour cars. They're about to head out and race at the most famous racetrack we've got here in Australia. It's blowing the minds of our international guests, but the man they've got to catch is right here. Tony D'Alberto, our defending Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia champion, starting from position number 1 at Bathurst.
Good afternoon, Australia. Good morning, Europe, and welcome to some might say the finest racetrack in the world. It is Bathurst Mountain Panorama and the Kumho TCR World Tour. And Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia are about to go racing for the very first time. This weekend, the grid looked packed, full of people looking to get up close and personal to these cars, and up close and personal to me in the commentary box. It is Greg Russ and Matt Nolte. Welcome, gents.
Hello, Paul. Hi, everybody. Great to be back here at what we call Magic Mountain, Mount Panorama here in Bathurst, about 3 hours inland from Sydney. Greg Ruston, what a track. We never get sick of it, but we love having newbies come here. And the guy in the middle of us has had such a great time the last 2 days, hasn't he?
The smile says it all. Paul, we are a little worried. We think Matt and I being with you probably feels like second prize for you, but we hope you have a fantastic afternoon anyway. How can you not? One of the great racetracks of the world, as you rightly point out. The response from those that have been here for the first time has been immense. It's been overwhelming. And to think that those with limited or no miles here were strong in qualifying, that's another big tick for the Kumho TCR World Tour for me.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible, actually. As you say, 2 practice sessions, a qualification, and then we're straight into the race. The weekends come quick and dirty, but unfortunately, it's time for go racing almost. So, Stubbsy, you're down on pit lane.
Indeed I am, and we have the very first person from Uruguay to take on Mount Panorama. He's raced Indy Lights, he's raced TCR around the world. Now you're on the front row at Mount Panorama, Santiago Urrutia. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, feeling great. It was a good qualifying for the team, so luckily they have penalties, so I'm along in the front now with the blue car. But yeah, the track is awesome, very difficult. It's very warm right now, so let's see how the tires handle the race. The Honda is very fast in Sector 1 and Sector 3 is quicker than us, so I think it would be important to go by the start and then see what happens. But yeah, it's been super competitive, practice and qualifying. I have a good car, so let's see how it goes in the race.
Sydney Motorsport Park, it was wet and it was wild. Here it's dry and fast. Are you expecting there to be plenty of contact again?
Yeah, it's touring car, you know, contact is always there. So the thing is that here the walls are very close. So when you add a contact, then you're going to end up in the wall. But it's racing. Everyone wants to win. I'm ready to go for it and see what happens. And yeah, I think we have the pace to do it. So I will do my best.
All the best of luck.
Thank you.
Tony D'Alberto, you're staying very cool and calm in this car, but you've got some rapid pace in this car. Is it going to transfer into the race?
I've got my fingers crossed. We hope so. It's been great all weekend so far, so hopefully we can convert our really good pace in quali and do a good job in this race. But there's some very aggressive internationals around me as well, so we're going to have to do a good job.
But the Championship TCR Australia title is still within grasp. Is the mentality just all or nothing for you?
It is, yeah. We're just going for the win. I'm not really even... we're a shot at the title, but a long shot, so the best opportunity we can give ourselves is winning races.
Have a good one, Tony.
Thanks. Cheers.
Nesta Girolami, you have been a champion in these races before at Sandown. Can you get the double and add Bathurst?
Yeah, I mean, Bathurst is a completely different story. You need some time to get used to the track, to get confidence. I think Tony did an amazing job in qualifying and all the weekend so far. So congrats to him, to the team. And now we are starting P4, so we have a good chance to finish race 1 on the point, and hopefully we can make it.
What is it that the Honda's doing well here? Obviously, TD at the front.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way that Tony is driving, I think, is really good. He gets the confidence straight away, and we had a good package. In my case, in qualifying, we struggle a little bit on bumping, so we need to sort it out for tomorrow.
Enjoy the day.
Thank you.
I will start with first.
Mikel, you're second row of the grid, still fourth in the championship, so in terms of the Kumho TCR World Tour, so you have everything to fight for out there today.
Yeah, it looks very excited, to be honest. It's something unexpected for us because we were carrying 40 kilos, the only World Tour driver with maximum ballast on the car, and P3 is amazing. Awesome job by the team because the car was flying on the qualifying too. It's good position to make some good points for the championship, and let's do it.
And you think with that ballast, it's really more of a penalty for qualifying. So if you're pretty pleasantly surprised by your performance in qualifying, does that mean you're pretty confident of being able to move up a couple more places in the race?
Yeah, for sure. You lose a lot of time during the qualifying because uphill, downhill with extra 40 kilos on the car, you really feel. But like I said, this track I think is more confidence, driving, feeling, and to be very close into the walls. And I think we did an amazing job on qualifying. I think it's more driving than car performance, and we compensate in qualifying. But now it's time to finish the job in races. It's gonna be not easy because I'm the only one around with 40 kilos, so I have to try to survive.
But you have that feeling, you have that confidence?
Yes, of course.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Another one of our global champions is Ted Bjork. Ted, you've got the weather shield across the front of the windscreen. It is hot. How are you expecting that to affect the performance today of the car?
No, but it's the same for everybody, of course. And for you, the Australian drivers, this is not so hot if I see in other races. No, so I think it's fine, you know. We're just enjoying getting here and meeting your local drivers.
The moment has come. Obviously, you've had a fast lap in qualifying, but now with a full grid of TCR cars around you, what are you expecting from this race?
You know, I think we would be expecting a little bit different from Sydney because there's a lot more respect that's needed on the mountain. I hope. I'm not sure about my, competition, but let's see, actually. But I think always is a tough race.
The performance of the Lincoln Co's in general, what is it doing well? Where's it creating its pace?
You know, I think it's giving me quite good confidence to be able to push as I did, because this is my, the first time I drove the track was yesterday. So the really strong point is give me confidence so I can push on the fast corners.
Go well.
Thank you.
Josh, you were just in a pretty deep discussion with your team. Everything good? What was that about?
Just what we were going to do for dinner after the race.
A celebratory dinner you're planning?
No, just a dinner. Something for sustenance and nutrients. That's all I'm after.
You were just showing me your, was it your brake or your throttle technique using both feet? Can we just see if we get the camera in there and see if can see what's going on?
I was just showing that I could heel toe if I get the call up one day.
Well, I don't think you're going to need that one, but all the best. What do you need to do in terms of the championship to keep yourself in the hunt?
Oh, look, honestly, just do whatever happens in front of us. Deal with whatever happens in front. I'm honestly not thinking about it. I really am not. If I'm ahead, I'm ahead. If I'm not, fair play, whatever. It's all good.
Good strategy. Have a good one, Josh.
Well, from one championship contender to one on a global scale, Rob Huff, how much is that a factor in the way you approach the mountain here today?
I mean, ultimately, I think I've got enough experience to let me know I don't need to worry about it. We'll worry about the championship. Let that sort itself out at the end of the season in a week's time. For now, just score as many points as possible. We've got a good position, especially for the reverse grid race tomorrow. Gives us good points again for the third race. So we'll just see what's going on. I think there's going to be a bit of aggression at the start from a lot of people, but ultimately you just got to take it as it comes.
Huffy, you're a hardcore racer. You're not racing for 10th, are you? You're racing for further up the front, surely.
Yeah, 100%. I want to move forward, get as many points that I can today, and then just see how the rest of the weekend unfolds. But yeah, for now we're going forward.
All the best.
Cheers, thank you.
He is a racer's racer, has been a winner in the British Touring Car Championship, was on top of the world in 2012, and he's within a shot of doing that again this year. Rob Huff takes you for a tour of Mount Panorama.
Okay guys, on board with Rob Huff at Bathurst with my TCR RS3 LMS across the start-finish line, trying to get a good run into T1. Pick your braking point down to second gear, turn it in, click the apex, get on the power as early as possible to get as much speed up the long uphill straight into the treacherous turn 2, up to 4th gear, then up to 5th gear, big bump in the middle of the circuit, heading up underneath the Shannon's Bridge where we start to go downhill and then very quickly back uphill, looking for the 100-meter board on the left, on the brakes down to 3rd gear, turn it in, get on the inside, get in the camber of the circuit, hard on the power, let the car run all the way out to the outside, pull fourth gear for the treacherous left-hander here. The car always feels very unbalanced through there, down into second gear, get it stopped, get into the inside as early as possible to get the camber of the circuit, get on the power, bit of wheel spin on the exit, short shift to third, then back to fourth, little lift for the right-hander here, little dab on the brakes just to settle the rear end, hard on the power, on the curbs, on the bumps, on the exit, let the car run all the way out to the right-hand side, down into the dip, really is like a roller coaster through here, get into the left-hand side, let the car run back out to the right-hand side, then a little lift through past the grate, trying to get as much speed before we go over the dip here. Hard on the brakes, be careful of the rear end moving around into the apex, across the curb on the left, get down to second gear, get it into the right hand side, big drop on the left, hard on the power, lots of wheel spin on the exit across the curb, up to third, up to fourth, then brake as late as you dare, through the right hander, get as close to the walls. Now really important to get a really good exit on the left hander here, let the car run all the way out to the right hand side, the long run now down the back straight, using all the revs, using all the gears. Pick left or right hand side doesn't really make much of a difference, setting yourself up for the chase, which will be flat out at about 270k in sixth gear, and then looking for the 150 meter board on the exit for your braking point through the chase. Keep it absolutely flat, get the 150 meter board, get the thing pulled up into the left, not overrunning on the exit, otherwise you can late on the power. Back to the left hand side, up to fourth gear, and then really tricky last corner braking. You think you've nailed the lap, but really tricky in the braking, very easy to lock the fronts before you get into the final left hand. Unfortunately we had to come to the pit lane because we were out of time on track, but thank you for joining me on board.
Fantastic stuff, fantastic insight there from Rob Huff. Thank you very much, Molly Taylor and Chris Stubbs down in pit lane. It's Matt Nolte, Greg Rust and myself, Paul Jeffrey, up in the commentary box. We're a few moments away, chaps, from going for a reconnaissance lap around this circuit and then going racing for the first time. And I kind of said it earlier in the pre-show, it's almost disappointing it's race time just because the atmosphere here at Bathurst has been sensational, hasn't it? For the fans, we've got the weather, we've got a variety of different cars on circuit, and it's a festival here on track, isn't it?
And it started with Circuit to City on Thursday, which one of our colleagues had the chance to go for a ride in the car out there. They just know how to do Bathurst properly. They've been coming here for over 6 decades now with the 1,000 kilometre endurance race as well, the Bathurst 12-hour, the Bathurst 6-hour. But this is another event that is going to become an icon event in this part of the world.
So they set off on the warm-up lap. Keep in mind, Tony D'Alberto clinched the title here 12 months ago in that Honda. There was a brief shot of our current points leader in Super Cheap Auto TCR, young Bailey Sweeney, in the Hyundai i30N for HMO Customer Racing. He will start this one from grid position 16. His nearest Aussie rival in points terms is actually his stablemate, but it's advantage Josh Buchan in qualifying. He'll start this one out of grid 5. And we've got the World Tour to consider as well, with things incredibly close between Huff and Norby Miklis.
So here is our starting grid at Bathurst Mountain Panorama. Tony D'Alberto for Honda Wall Racing is on pole position. Alongside him, Santiago Urrutia, Mikel Azcona and Nesta Girolami round out row 2. And then fifth, as mentioned, Josh Buchan looking to make inroads to Bailey Sweeney's championship charge.
Ten Bjork got that 3-place grid penalty. He starts from position number 6 today, down towards the bottom of the top 10. Great to see Zach Suter get a top 10 result. Frederick Vervies starts out of 10. Norbert Mikulis starts on the 6th row there, with Marching Wise starting out of position number 12 today. But then you've got this sea of Australians that need to get back up into the pointy end. Will Brown starts from 13, Aaron Cameron from 14, Barguana from 15th, and Bailey Sweeney, leading the Super Cheap Auto Series, is starting from 16.
Someone we need to keep an eye on, given the pace of the Lincoln Coast this weekend, is Tom Oliphant out of 20. In that car for Ash Seawood Motorsport, it's better than its 20th grid position. And Michael Clementi, you saw just very briefly pop up on screen there a moment ago, he rejoins us. Missed the Sydney Motorsport Park round in that Seat Cupra, took the famous DJ Carl Cox for a lap around the circuit here yesterday. He's out of grid 18. When it made its debut, that car at Phillip Island, then followed it up with success at Winton, we know Clementi on the day can be fast. One to watch.
We started with 24, sadly for Will Harrison, the Honda Civic. They decided to park the car up this morning. He's suffering from a pre-existing rib injury that forced him to withdraw from the event. That's a tough break considering his strong debut last weekend at Sydney Motorsport Park. Well, we're about another 2 hours to the west this weekend over the back of the Blue Mountains at the iconic Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. 6.2 kilometres, 23 turns. You're lapping at around 2 minutes, 13 seconds. And we have 11 laps coming up here this afternoon.
This is going to be an action-packed race. Speaking to Josh Buchan in the paddock earlier on, I said, qualifying's gone your way. You've got an opportunity to score big points. He looked, winked and said, got to stay out of trouble first. And that is going to be the key for these drivers, especially in these opening laps. Stay out of trouble, let the race come to you.
To your point, spoke with Gabriele Tarquini yesterday, touring car racing royalty, right, who is here, as you know. Paul follows the tour. He is the team boss for Norbert Mikulis, who's just come through, shot there a moment ago in those Squadra Corsa Hyundai NE Elantras. Now, he said to me, this game, it's like boxing. A bit of psychology, a bit of gamesmanship in it. And we talked about his Formula One career as well, which was immensely frustrating for him, not always in cars that could showcase his talent. He said a Formula One car is an incredible car to drive. A touring car, it's a great car to race. What a quote. What a quote.
Yeah, that is, and never a truer word spoken as well. We saw it at Sydney Motorsports Park in the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series. We've seen it all season in the Kumho TCR World Tour as well. These cars are designed to run side by side, nose to tail. These drivers are designed to run side by side, nose to tail, and often the thrills come thick and fast. Mount Panorama, an entirely different prospect for all of these drivers, though you've got to give the respect to the circuit. You cannot force the issue, and potentially this could be an opportunity for some big winners and some big losers come the checkered flag.
They ticked all the boxes, the international drivers yesterday, using your quote, doing the slow dance, getting it right, not touching the walls during the two 30-minute practice sessions, and now we're there at the pointy end of it, particularly the Lincoln Co cars that were supreme yesterday during practice. Qualifying, of course, has been adjusted with the penalties that were a hangover from the Sydney event from last weekend. Watch for Jan Ellershey. He'll come out of position number 7 in that all-international fourth row. But Tony D'Alberto, confidence is peaking for the outgoing. It's a mathematical chance of perhaps winning the championship still, but realistically, it's going to come down to those HMO customer racing cars.
And let's remember, Tony D'Alberto has only made 3 live race starts in this car. It's a new model for D'Alberto, running the previous generation Honda Civic before the Sydney Motorsports Park weekend. So Santiago Urrutia, Mikel Azcona said he's hungry for the Kumho TCR World Tour title. He'll be looking to make inroads from 3rd position on the grid. It is all about these next few moments will make or break somebody's race. So, if you're watching from home, do not go anywhere. Keep your eyes out for the green flag. There it is, at the back of the field. In a few moments' time, the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia and Kumho TCR World Tour will be lights out. And at Bathurst International, we are go. Martin Quo was a little bit spicy off of the line. At the back of the field, Santiago Urrutia takes an early race lead. Slight contact between D'Alberto and Azcona. In 2nd position, Bebu Girolami gets a wonderful launch off the line through the first corner. All the drivers pretty much making. Ben Bargwanna and Will Brown side by side. Bargwanna mows the grass, but survives and comes on alongside teammate Jordan Cox.
And already Bargwanna trying to make the move up Mountain Straight here for the first time. But it's Santiago Urrutia that leads up to the top. Great start from Girolami. D'Alberto drops back in the 3rd. Azcona drops in the 4th. Then the 2 Lincoln Co's are next. But there's elbows up, just like we saw in Sydney on lap number 1 last weekend.
What a start from Nestor Girolami, and Rob Huff is hustling. There he is. He's on the outside of Josh Buchan. Not ideally placed there, but plays it smart. Tries a different exit as they run up the hill. So we've got stories within the story. The Australian flight to think about. The internationals with the World Tour nearing the end of the 2023 season. And who doesn't love Aussies taking on the world in sport? This is what it's all about.
Biggest field ever here at Mount Panorama as the field of 23 make their way across McPhillamy Park and down toward the famous Brock skyline for the first of 11 journeys. Down the hill they go, so it looks like everybody survived the first 2 sectors of this lap, down through the dipper for the first time.
We've seen this so many times, though, at Bathurst. Everybody gives due respect to the mountain section for the downhill sweepers, and then it all starts to go wrong as we get through the chase. Long tyre in the background there, no dramas on this occasion. No, but Michaelis seems to have dropped a little bit further back as well. He's behind Zach Suter. Suter holds the upper hand at this moment in time. But look at Santiago Arruti and the advantage he has over Bebu Girolami. He will be delighted in that Lincoln Co. This is what he needs to kickstart his challenge.
What is that odd line? Teamwork makes the dream work. Awesome start by Nesta Girolami. That car being run by Wall Racing. Tony D'Alberto, things are coming right now in that car. Watch for him in 3rd place, and then playing the ultimate rear gunner. Frederick Vervish right with Rob Huff. He's doing a great team job for Kumho Racing.
Aaron Cameron on the defensive here, down into the bottom turn as he goes past Zach Suter in the 110, the tough lift Audi. So 1 lap in the books in the World Tour here. It's been clean, but there's a lot of pressure in that mid-pack as Santiago Arruti starts lap number 2 of this race and heads up Mountain Straight.
Just as we came out of the final corner there, I think I saw last minute. Yes, there we go. Marchingua made the dive, got past Cox. Cox unceremoniously shoved off the racetrack by Ben Barguana there. That allows Michael Clemente lights ablaze in the Cooper Leon competition coming up the hill. Clemente makes his way past as well. 2 positions lost for Jordan Cox. But chaps, taking you back to the start of the race, 5-second penalty for car number 155, and that has to be for the little bit of a spicy early start for the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. Marchingua.
Great side, isn't it, through the work cutting as they start this 2nd lap. In car with Rob Huff, race winner here at Sydney last weekend, the first international to break through. He takes a Hyundai up through Solomon Park. And chasing Josh Buchan ahead, his teammate Bailey Sweeney has dropped 2 positions since the race started. He's down in 18th position.
They crest the top. Girolami lighting up the timing board. Quick through the 1st sector. We'll get the 2nd marker, the 2nd sector for you in just a moment for the Honda driver, the Honda pilot. Buchan goes nice and tight, close to the wall as they come through the dipper. Now down. They've got your attention there, Paul. Little puffs of smoke as they come into the left-hander and onto Conrad now.
Yeah, that was Bebu Girolami just locking the wheel as the car unloads. I thought it was a bit more dramatic than in reality it ended up being, but there is Girolami just behind him, the sister Honda Civic FL05 TCR of Tony D'Alberto. D'Alberto then drops 2 places off at the start, but remember, the Kumho TCR World Tour drivers are invisible in terms of points in the Super-Cheap Auto TCR Australia, so in effect, D'Alberto may not be leading the race on the racetrack, but is in line to score the maximum points for his championship. That presents a situation. Do you attack and take the trophy and the podium, or do you settle for the points? Remember, D'Alberto, outside championship challenger, as Norbert Michaelis has a little look on Zach Suter through hell.
If I know race car drivers, they'll go for the win regardless here. And D'Alberto has those maximum points, just doing some numbers on the run here. As it stands, to make the championship or the series 7 points between Sweeney and Buchan in favour of Sweeney. As it stands now, but a long way to play out.
Buchan 7th. Bailey Sweeney in 17th, 10 places behind him. We go back to the front of the field. Santi doing a good job by nearly a second with the quickest lap of the race so far. 2:15.79 over Nesta Girolami, our 2 international guests ahead of the Aussie, the champion who was crowned at this very track just 1 year ago. Tony D'Alberto in the Civic Type R. Mick Lathcona said to Molly Taylor on the grid that this would be a good race car. He's solid in 4th in that Hyundai.
Absolutely, so let's take a look at the start. There they go, back of the shot. That was Marchingua jumping the start. He got on the brake, but that was not enough to save him. Contact between Mikel Lathcona and Tony D'Alberto as well in 3rd and 4th position. No such trouble to the cars, though. Everybody makes it through T1 just about. And these are the fine margins. We've seen jump starts before. These are the fine margins that you have here in TCR racing cars at Mount Panorama in Bathurst.
So down the hill we go, lap 3 for the drone shot. They're making their way down to Forest Elbow. Arruti leads with Girolami and D'Alberto.
So here we go. What is happening in this fight for second position? Bebel Girolami. Remember, this was a last-minute deal to come to Australia. The car that Bebel Girolami is racing is very short on parts, to the point where they were scavenging off Tony D'Alberto's road car in Sydney Motorsports Park to get the starter motor working. Girolami can't afford to take chances. Tony D'Alberto fancies the Super Cheap TCR Australia Championship. He can't afford to take chances. What do we do?
That's a fun little secret we had going there.
Mimo to Honda Australia. We love you, and it will be returned exactly as Tony runs it. But I mean, this is not unusual in motor racing. This stuff happens, and it's important that he's able to have the best possible weekend here at the mountain. Back to our Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series leader in that I-30N, carrying that extra weight this weekend. Sweeney's picked up a spot. It's 16th now, but his teammate sits in 7th still. Josh Buchan, Matt Nolte crunching the numbers for you. We drop back to Lockie Manif and Tom Oliphant, 20th and 21st respectively. Now, to Paul's point before, does Nesta Girolami let Tony D'Alberto by for the sake of the Australian Championship? Nesta's got his own point to prove, and they're all being run by Wall Racing.
The problem, if you're Nesta Girolami and you allow Tony D'Alberto past, that puts you in the firing line of Mikel Azcona behind. For this moment in time, for Girolami, he wants that safety blanket of stable mate D'Alberto behind. So it's a difficult position. And Chris Stubbs is down on pit lane with news.
Paul, just an update with our championship leader in Australia in terms of Bailey Sweeney. The reason he qualified so lowly outside the top 10, they were struggling with a turbo problem on that car. Now, at the moment, they believe it's not playing a role in his race pace and everything is okay, but we're going to keep eyes on that one for you.
He's picking up the pieces. Thanks, Chris Stubbs down in pit lane. He's up to 7th in our Australian series, but 16th on the road behind Ben Barguana. As D'Alberto really starts to give Girolami the hurry up here down at the Schaeffler elbow. Back onto Conrod Straight we go. So clean affair, a lot of pressure at the front. As Arrutia leads us down in the Lincoln Co, the Cyan racing car. They've just been supreme since the outset in Sydney. Beautiful team, the 4-car assault out of the Gilly group. And leading comfortably here by just under 2 seconds down into the DBA chase. Meantime, Sweeney.
It's on Barguana, tapped out in the TCR car, on the run into the chase, gets it done. Oh. Nice work, Bailey Sweeney. Takes a big, deep breath. Brave stuff. Bargs comes back at him. Bargs gets greater drive through the chase. He's on the outside as they come down into the final turn. Meantime, it's getting a little spicy here between Maher and Will Brown. So all happening with these battle packs. Santi Arrutia leads from Nesta Girolami and Tony D'Alberto. Here comes Michael Clementi having a look at Ben Barguana.
Barguana trying desperately, though, to get the run up the hill. Clementi and Barguana side by side. Peugeot versus Cupra. Who has the most strike on the run up the straight? We're going to be at the inside line. If you're Michael Clementi, you're going to hold on. You're going to try and keep that inside line. Ben Barguana doesn't fancy his chances. Bailey Sweeney further up the road as well. Makes a move, and that is position gain for Clementi. And Jordan Cox trying to bag in this one as well.
It's all happening here. So Sweeney with that spot now. Will Brown, that's 14th place. Matt Nolte goes back to crunching some numbers. What does that mean for the championship? His main rival still remains in 7th, Josh Buchan.
Back out to 15 points now with those 3 passes. So the 20-year-old from Batemans Bay here in New South Wales on the charge in the 130 Hyundai for HMO Customer Racing. It's across the top of Mount Panorama we go. And it's just starting to build, isn't it, here? There's a bit of feeling in the mid-pack. Of course, marching wires, that 5-second time penalty to be added at the end of the race. Just up the road from Sweeney, Brown and Clementi back in 14th, 15th and 16th into the dipper.
You can just feel the confidence starting to build with the drivers now in the body language of the car. There's no Nicholas blast of the late breakers. Manages to get the car recovered. Zach Suter, trying to find a way back past against the Hungarian driver on the defensive. Norbe clearly very fed up indeed of following the back of that Audi, and I think he's just about got the run coming down the back straight.
Norbert Nicholas was spectacular spectacular to watch in the damp conditions at Sydney Motorsport Park a week ago. We go to Mount Panorama, it's dry, and he is still sending it like the Hyundai Rally team. Amazing. 11th place at the moment, eyeing up a 10. And while we've been worried and revisiting those numbers in the Australian Championship, we need to bear in mind this is a part of the Kumho Tyres TCR World Tour. Rob Huff came into this race 1 point behind his good friend in Norbert Mikulis. Mikulis is now 11th in this race. Huff is 8th. It's going to be super close going into tomorrow's 2 races.
Another thing as well to remember for anybody that's new to the world of TCR Australia, we're interested in 10th position in this race. Why are we interested in 10th position? Because that will be pole for race 2. We've reversed the top 10 of the first race of the day for our second race. Currently that position, Aaron Cameron, Mikel Azcona, damage to the front right of his car. What has happened to the BRC Hyundai N Squadron Corsa machine? Mikel Azcona in all sorts of trouble.
And that drops him out of 5th position. And he's going to struggle to get that car back. It couldn't happen at a worst possible time on Mountain Straight. And now the Hyundai crawls its way up towards Griffins. This that moment in the race we've been expecting to see. And now the 190. I don't think he's going to make it. He's going to stop. Well, that's a famous spot there, Rusty. The famous Glen Seaton Park there many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And won the 1000s.
Exactly this spot. Now, the team, Norby said to us earlier in the day that they weren't necessarily the same in terms of setup choices. They had a really good think yesterday about what they could do differently to find some speed out of those cars. So is there a moment where he's brushed the wall, or have they gone aggressive and ultimately that's hurt that tyre? That's a question for our team in the lane. We'll follow that. Meantime, lots happening between the two Honda pilots, the brand new Civic Type Rs. Very cool to have these cars here in Australia. Tony's brand new machine, in fact, arrived on the weekend. We were in Sandown for a very recent round of the championship, but it wasn't able to clear customs in time. So we sort of watched on, checked some photos, but it was about waiting, watching and dreaming, and he finally got his hands on it 1 week ago at Sydney Motorsport Park. He's going. Mikel Azcona's going again, so limping back to the lane.
Good sign. That puts Norby Mikulis into 10th position now. With all of that at the moment, he'll start from the pole position, but there's still 5 laps remaining as Girolami and D'Alberto continue to scrap in the Hondas, while Santiago Urrutia continues to lead. The gap stays at 2 seconds. So while they're scrapping, they're not losing time to the Lincoln Co. just ahead. Behind them, Elishay, Bjork, Buchan, Huff, Vervish, Aaron Cameron, and Norby Mikulis, the top 10, race 1 of the World Tour.
Mount Panorama bathed in sunshine on a fabulous Saturday afternoon here. All as a part of the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst International, the final stop on the tour for Australia, and that is some of the tyre finally crying enough for Mikel Azcona as he limps his Elantra back to pit lane. We go inside BMC and Squadron Corsa. They wait for their driver to return. Now, is that damaged bodywork because of the flailing tyre, or has there been contact with a wall? What has caused this problem for Mikel Azcona? Meanwhile, his teammate, who's very much in the TCR World Tour title race, is now inside the 10, Norbert Mikulis.
Yeah, it's going to be causing so much damage to that Hyundai Elantra with Azcona trying to limp the car back to pit lane. The reason they want to do that, of course, is for the mechanics to get sight of it, to try and effect some repairs, see what the problem is, and see if they can get back out on the racetrack. But look at these two Hondas now, separated by pretty much a paint scheme. That's how close they are.
Fantastic to watch. Of course, Girolami came out in 2019 and dominated the Sandown round for the Wall Racing team. It just shows you how good this new car is, of D'Alberto just behind. As they head down Conrod Straight, speeds of around 260 kilometres an hour from these TCR cars, and they're staying in touch with Urrutia just ahead of the Lincoln Co.
For me, this is so impressive how Wall Racing have taken possession of this new car, as you say, very late in the day, in a series that's already well in its flow. People are used to their machines, and they just turned it on, and they're on pace. Well, they're more than on the pace, they're absolutely competitive, both with a two-car team, and there is Azcona, I think, getting well out of the way. Hopefully the car's not stationary, green flag waving in the background, but hugely impressive from Wall Racing from what we've seen in these 2 weekends.
Run by David Wall, who's been successful in Carrera Cup in this country. The family has plenty of history when it comes to motor racing, and some great old cars that they have had in their stable over time. Is he taking the belts off? Is that game over for Mikolath Kona? So close to getting that car back to pit lane. Yellow flags on display. We're about to go safety. I'm not sure. We're waiting to confirm whether that car is in a position that officials feel is not safe enough. These, so top of your screen, we go safety car here at Mount Panorama. Field gets neutralised. Santi Arruzia, who had nearly a 1.5 second advantage over Nesta Girolami, that will be bunched back up. That advantage will go. This is just the opportunity Nesta Girolami and Tony D'Alberto have been waiting for.
Completely. Put yourself in the driver's seat of Santiago Arruzia. You've done all of the work. You got the great start. You took the lead. You built your advantage. And now, in 32 degrees ambient temperature, having worked your socks off up to this point, everything slows down. The heat sink starts to build in, and all of a sudden, you've got the entire field behind you. Pressure time.
And you're out of your groove now. You've got yourself in such a nice rhythm there, been lapping in the 218s the last 2 or 3 laps now. So the field, which was stretched out to nearly 45 seconds, is now going to compress. The safety car leading us across the top of Mount Panorama here. Safety car is out here at Mount Panorama. That incident for Mikolath Kona, who tried to get his Hyundai back to the pits. He limped across the top of the mountain and has come to a stop at the exit of the DBA chase with 4 laps remaining. So that 2-second advantage that Santiago Arruzia had is now back to 0. With Girolami and D'Alberto, well, they were joined by the width of a sticker, really, in that battle for 2nd and 3rd. Jan Elysée up from 7th into 4th position now.
So we go to Kumho replay for you. This is going down Conrod Straight. Bailey Sweeney making the move earlier in the race on Ben Bargwanna, sends it at maximum speed. Then this from Norby Mikulis. Fired up, but he's now got himself into the top 10. This was the moment that would ultimately lead to a safety car. Mikolath Kona was able to get that Hyundai going once again and has limped back to at least the chase. But where the car has stopped on the grass, as more of that tyre parts company, obviously has concerned officials. They've deployed the safety car here. Will we get a 1 or 2 lap dash to the line here? There's the stricken car. The field makes its way down into the chase with the Hondas energised here. Girolami, D'Alberto, and then you'd have to add into that Jan Elysée, who copped that penalty prior to the start of the race. He qualified 2nd, but had a 5 grid spot penalty. The Lincoln Co of Jan Elysée is one to watch here at the restart too. Let's go to the lane. Molly?
Dave Wall, it's all kicking off down here. Tensions are pretty high. Is there any kind of team orders that are happening with these two, or are they both in their own race?
Look, they're free to race, but free to race carefully. Look, we've all got our own plans here. We all want to do well, so look, we'll try and monitor that to the end. But Tony's obviously got a fair bit of pace here this weekend, and we hope that you know, that pace will show its true dividends at the end there. It's unfortunately had a bit of a bog down on the start, and that right side seemed to be a bit better. So yeah, we'll see what the end of the race brings.
Awesome. And Fifey over here, he really wanted to get a word in as well. You're on the radio to TD. What's the chat been like in the safety car? Any chat?
Not really, not so much. Mine on the job, and yeah, we'll just see what the rest brings.
And how's he finding it out there? Is he going to get this championship done?
The championship done? I'd like to get it done, but you know, let's call it the Bathurst Championship. We'll see. We'll work on that first.
All right, thanks.
Interesting takeaway from David Wall there, who's a very good racer in his own right, that the grip level on the outside of the circuit was better perhaps than where Tony was positioned for the start. So bogged down a bit at the start, didn't quite grip up the way some of his rivals did, but they feel like this car is going to be good at the back end of the race. Will we get a couple of laps sprint here for him to show that?
Now, looking down the field here on our screens, remember, Marchinghua has that 5-second time penalty to be added at the end. He's in 12th position with Sweeney and Brown just behind. That'll put Sweeney up to 11th, but Suter is just ahead here. They'll need to go after Norby Mikulis here for that 10th position. If Sweeney can get to 10th, puts him on the pole tomorrow, that really spices up the Australian series.
Things are building, ladies and gentlemen, here at Bathurst Mount Panorama. When we were at Sydney Motorsports Park, we had drama after drama after drama. This one is feeding a slow storyline, slowly but surely. As you say, the TCR Australia Championship is coming to a bit of a crescendo here as well. Josh Buchan so far in 6th position. He'll be happy with his day's work. Can Bailey Sweeney find another couple of places to get that reverse grid pole position? Can Norman Miklis hold on for the reverse grid pole position? As things stand, chap, he's going to be losing lots of points to his main rival, Jan Ellershay, if things stay as they are. And Ellershay, an understated drive up to this point, 4th position, Tony D'Alberto, the next man up the road, and the two Wall Racing Hondas working out how to sort themselves out as there is Azkona's car being recovered back to pit lane.
Great work by the recovery team here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Our officials come from all over the country and they give up their time voluntarily to make the event happen, and we're very, very grateful of that. So quick work to recover Mikkel Azkona's car. Just waiting to get some confirmation from race control. Matt, I think we're being maybe one lap. Is that what we're hearing?
We'll be going at the end of this lap. We'll be good to go. So well done to the recovery crew to retrieve the Azkona car off the track. We're riding car with Aaron Cameron, so we should get the entire distance in here. We're still a fair way off our time certain point, which is about 8 minutes away, and it'll be 2 racing laps remaining. So looking forward to seeing how this settles, not just at the front, but that 10th position battle. We've talked about it all season long here in Australia. Well, let's spice it up and be a game changer for tomorrow morning's race.
Good luck being the TV director here, because we're going to be watching the fight for 10th place, and at the same time, can Santi Urrutia hang on to this and maybe win it for Lincoln Co? They had such high hopes. They looked so competitive straight out of the blocks at Sydney Motorsport Park. What unfolded in changeable weather in qualifying and the racing, I don't think fully showed what the Lynx had there. Different story here. They are wanting to make a statement. He's going to try and hang on to this. D'Alberto and Girolami, those Hondas are fast.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of drivers concentrating very hard indeed in a few moments' time, not just through their windshield, but in their rear view mirrors. There you can see the lights are off on the safety car. The drivers now must maintain a static speed with no weaving. No weaving. Unlike we see in Europe, you cannot warm your tyres up now. This has caught drivers out before at Sydney Motorsports Park. Everybody's learnt their lesson. And Santiago Urrutia, can he find another start in his back pocket, or will Tony D'Alberto be able to make up some ground on Bebu Girolami ahead?
We're about to find out. View from the beautiful Ridges Hotel as the green flag waves from our starting point here on pit straight. And Urrutia quickly back onto the accelerator. He leads the 2 Hondas, and it's another 2 Lincoln Co's just behind. The Hyundai is next as they come through to start the penultimate lap of this race. You keep an eye on that mid-pack scramble. We'll watch the front. So Urrutia leads us into Hell Corner.
See Bailey Sweeney behind us having a little bit of a nibble through Murray's, trying to find a way past Mark Xinghua. He'll know that the Chinese driver has that 5-second time penalty, but he'll be desperate to clear the Lincoln Co to give himself an opportunity to have a nibble at Zach Suter ahead.
Some problem there for Michael Clementi, so the Cupra has come into the pit lane. We go back to Rob Huff. That's on Josh Buchan. That's for position 6 now for Rob Huff in the Contiu Audi. Back we go. 0.5 between Urrutia and Girolami. Here's that battle we were just talking about. Norman Miklis is holding on to Tim, and he's got, maybe, we'll just see them come through this corner here. He hasn't got much in that, the emergence of Zach Suter, who is closing. Suter in 11th, the Aussie.
Now, here's an interesting thing to think about. You're Santi Urrutia. You are 4th in the Kumho TCR World Tour standing, so you have a chance. But your teammate, Jan Ellershay, is very much in contention. Do you slow the pack? And no, you don't. Oh. There you go. There's your answer, folks. Let's get our car onto 2 wheels as we push sideways. Santi Urrutia wants this win. And there's Clemente, a delaminated tyre.
Carl Cox Motorsport Cupra back in the pits. And again, D'Alberto picks up where he left off prior to the safety car period. There'll be 1 to go next time by. In car with Aaron Cameron. 9th position. Behind him is Miklis. Zach Suter is 11th. Mark Xinghua with 5 seconds will drop down probably to the bottom of the top 20. Girolami and D'Alberto close in on the Lincoln Co. Down towards the DBA chase.
In the background there is that Huff about to pick up another position. No, in fact, it's the rear gunner. Fred Vervish is keeping that pressure on Buck, and he's helping his teammate, doing everything he can at the moment as they come through the chase. Good piece of driving. Let's keep an eye a little further back. Where's Bailey Sweeney? He sits in 13th at the moment. Mikulis still holds down 10th. Our provisional pole sitter for the reverse top 10 tomorrow. Clementi back on circuit.
Good to see Michael Clemente gets that car back on, gives the team an opportunity to check that everything is as expected, ready for race 2 tomorrow. But the big fight at this moment in time is Norbert Mikulis, is Zach Suter, and then Mark Gingua as well in the mix of that one. At the front of the field, our top trio of cars are breaking away from Jan Elishay. He's got Ted Bjork. Ted will not attack his teammate Elishay. I am absolutely sure points for the Frenchman at this juncture are critical.
Now, Clementi is just ahead of this group of cars, and Girolami is closer than ever to the back of the Lincoln Co. It'll depend on where they catch the Carl Cox Cupra as they climb the shelf. There's Clementi left-hand side, and look how close second and third are now to our leader. One last roll of the dice here at Mount Panorama in race number 1 of the Kumho TCR World Tour.
What Zach Suter got here. He looked racy, closing up on the back of Norbert Mikulis's car before. The difference is pole position tomorrow or starting out of grid 11th. He's got a chart here. Can Zach Suter snare that pole position?
That's Clementi just on the hard stand on the left-hand side, so he's pulled out the way and let these guys battle it right down to the wire into the Schaeffler elbow for the final time and onto the famous Conrod Straight. So Arrutia's just got a bit of a margin here as we set sail for home.
Yeah, Santi Arrutia has done everything he needed to do in this race. Got the launch off of the line, stayed out of trouble, built an early lead, and then the safety car. Everything slows down. Refocus your attention again. Accelerated beautifully under safety car conditions and built himself that gap to the chasing Bebo Girolami and Tony D'Alberto behind as we come to the chase for the final time.
Norbert Mikulis was 2/10 slower. Quicker, I beg your pardon, than Zach Suter across the top. That might just help him hold on to that 10th place. We're headed for the line. It's a good day for Lincoln Co. Here at the mountain. Santi Arrutia wins our first race of the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst International. Well done. It's a Honda second and third with Nesta Girolami and Tony D'Alberto completing our top 3. Who gets pole position for tomorrow? Norbert Mikulis.
Fantastic stuff, and on the line there as well, Bailey Sweeney trying to get in the mix of 2 or 3 cars as we dash to the control point, but a great performance there from Santiago Arrutia on one of the most difficult circuits, not just in the calendar, in the world. The Uruguayan driver did not put a wheel wrong. Wall Racing said their 2 cars are free to race, but race carefully, and a good performance from both Bebo and TD in second and third position as well.
Nice. The congratulations as Girolami comes past. To your point, Santi's got the quickest lap of the race as well, a 2:15.62. So he cleans up here in race 1 on the mountain. Good day for Cyan Racing. Santi Arrutia wins a pair of brand new Honda Civic Type R's, second and third, with Nesta Girolami and Tony D'Alberto. Some stories to tell. This driver here was on pole position just 1 week ago at Sydney Motorsport Park. Unfortunately, it's ended this way for Ben Bargwanna today, and you need to finish the lap, Matt, don't you? Is that what you're telling me here?
0
He's down
points.
at 22nd, 0 points for Ben Bargwanna.
Where Clementi gets scored back there in 21st position as the field make their way across Mount Panorama to the applause of the officials and the fans up there today. And for Sweeney, he didn't really need to go at the Lincoln Co at the end. He'll get 11th position with that time penalty, but the 27-year-old from Uruguay, former Pro Mazda champion, cleans up here, a dominant drive in the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co.
Nesta Girolami, Tony D'Alberto will join him on the podium. Jan Elishay does a good day's work for his championship charge. He's in 4th position, just ahead of teammate Ted Bjork. Rob Huff stayed out of trouble. He said he wanted to move forward. He said he was looking for the points. 6th position is his reward ahead of teammate Frederick Vervish. And then Josh Buchan for the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia field has a very nice time in 8th position.
Just as we look at the rest of the results, I want to pick up on something Paul just said there. Jan Aleshay, we believe, has provisionally moved to 2nd in the point standings for the TCR World Tour. Rob Huff on the numbers would lead with 3:42 by 6 over Aleshay. Norby Mikulis to 3rd. We'll confirm that for you.
It'll be 15 points in the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series between Sweeney and Buchan. But here are the highlights of this history-making day here at the mountain. It was the Honda and the Lincoln Co that led away, and it was not even 100 metres before the first panel was rubbed. As Connor on the back of D'Alberto, the 2 Lincoln Co's just behind. But Urrutia set sail from this point and just led this race. He was in control from the outset. Bargwanna forced out to cut the lawn there on the way up Mountain Straight.
Rob Huff, Josh Buchan coming together as well through the twist. He's managed to stay out of trouble, both drivers, as Ben Bargwanna, we see briefly on screen there, having a good battle with one of the Cyan Racing Link and Co's. There is Jordan Cox alongside Bailey Sweeney. Sweeney on the outside line. Cox has the advantage. On that occasion, it was position gains.
He's only a youngster from the south coast of New South Wales, but he drove with some real smarts. Made a fast run into the chase there. Norbert Mikulis in the Elantra fired it down the inside there, but it was drama for his teammate Mikolav Kona with that right front giving away when he had been running in the top 4. He would limp at home, but would not before we had a safety car.
Tough day for Hyundai, the BRC Squadra Corsa team. Will bounce back tomorrow from the tail of the field. Safety car would pull in, and Bargwanna limping across the top of the mountain here. A tyre change after cutting down on the Cupra. But out in front, Santiago Urrutia wins for Lincoln Co. The 2 Hondas 2nd and 3rd. Norby Mikulis starts from the pole for race number 2 tomorrow.
Fantastic stuff here at Bathurst. Mount Panorama from our Kumho TCR World Tour and Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia drivers. They're heading down to pit lane. Such is the length of this circuit. This is how long the slowdown lap has been. But there's your man. There's your race winner, Santiago Urrutia, on the roof of the 112. This means a lot. He becomes the first driver ever to win 3 races in the Kumho TCR World Tour.
He gate crashed the beginning of our Australian television coverage today. He came right in between you and I having a conversation. You could sense from that, Paul, that he felt like it was going to be a good day. Had a good car underneath him. Great work by the team. And clearly they've sort of made amends for what could have been. That happens a lot in motor racing, but what could have been at Sydney Motorsport Park. He's number 1 today.
A win at Bathurst on any driver's CV. I don't care how successful you've been in the past. To win at Bathurst is one of those halo events that regardless of your championship, that's what you need. And Chris Stubbs is down in pit lane.
3rd is pretty much a win for Tony D'Alberto, our first Australian home, TD. Well done. Nice little smile. Happy with that?
I'm satisfied, but I just stuffed the start. I just bogged down at the start and then couldn't get back around these guys. We had really good pace. I really honestly believe we had a car to win then. So, yeah, I'll have to study Nestor's start and try and replicate that tomorrow. But great job for the guys. Obviously, that's a win for TCR Australia and great points for the championship.
That's it. Box on.
Thanks.
And Nestor, it was in 2nd place. He's just having a chat over here. I'll move on through. Everyone wants a piece of Santi, and we'll get to Santi in a moment. But Nestor Girolami, you have been a winner at Sandown, now on the podium at Mount Panorama. How do you react to that?
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate all the team. I mean, World Racing have done an amazing job since we hit this track. I mean, Tony was flying around all the time. I was learning a lot from Tony. Unfortunately for us in qualifying was not ideal. We found the problem we couldn't change for race 1. Hopefully for tomorrow we solve it and we can fight with the guys, because it's clear in sector 2 I have no pace at all. But it is what it is. At least we did a good job. We make a good start, which put us in a good position, and then it's all about controlling.
A nice result, and it sounds like the best is yet to come. Good luck.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the team again, to Shaz Motorsport, HRC, all the support we have here was amazing.
Well said.
Thank you.
So that brings us to Santi Urrutia, the first man from Uruguay to race at Mount Panorama. That makes him the first winner. Congratulations, well done.
Yeah, it was a good race. Super happy, you know. I knew, I said to you, I have to be, you know, really good at the start because the Honda in sector 1 and 3 is quicker than me. So I did a good start, and then I just did my race, to be honest. I really pushed at the beginning. Then I was a bit worried about the vibrations, you know, with the tires. As well, I got information that Ascona got a flat tire, so I started to take care of the tires. And then the safety car came in, so I say, not again. And I have to do a really, you know, the first lap to push a lot to pull away from the toe from Girolami. But at the end, it's a win, so I'm happy. It's been an up and down year for me, so congrats to Cyan in an amazing car. They give it to me. It's a win in this amazing track, so it's just the beginning of the weekend, still 2 races to go, so we gotta keep going.
Another victory to add to your collection. Go and enjoy the podium.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just a brilliant day at the office for him. And he knew that those Hondas were coming, so what will unfold in our reverse grid race tomorrow? Mikulis with a chance to really get some more points back in the TCR World Tour. So there's the confirmation of what we talked about before. We question marked it, but Paul, the numbers are through.
Absolutely. Rob Huff is the new leader of the Kumho TCR World Tour with 342 points to his name. Jan Aleshe moves from 3rd to 2nd, and Norbert Mikulis drops to 3rd position in the standings. Look how close we are on points. There's 2 more races at Bathurst Mount Panorama starting tomorrow to come, and then we head to Macau for the Macau Gear 70th Grand Prix.
So very tight at the top there from the TCR World Tour perspective. The Australian Series, well, that's now 45 points covering the top 3 coming into tomorrow's race. There's so much to break down, but thoroughly enjoyed that one here today at Mount Panorama.
Fantastic scenes at a fantastic racetrack, and just as we expected, as we mentioned at the top of the show, this is very much a case of setting the scene for the following 2 races that will come tomorrow. The drivers now have got racecraft experience of this circuit, the confidence that comes with it. They'll make changes to the car, and then tomorrow is where the big points are paid out, and also the Super Cheap TCR Australia Championship will be decided.
Exactly right. So a bit to debrief out of that too, and then some of those that starred in Sydney, for example, Will Brown only down in 13th. I think all things considered, that's a very solid performance today from Bailey Sweeney to get to 12th place, to stay in touch, in contact with Josh Buchan, who finished 8th. The 2 stablemates at HMO Customer Racing. It makes for a very close run to the flag in Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia in our final day of Aussie competition and the penultimate day for the World Tour before you head to Macau. Tony D'Alberto with a great haul here in the domestic championship. Well done to Santi Urrutia to take out the first race here from Nesta Girolami. Will the Aussies bounce back and steal some of the international thunder on Sunday?
Norby Mikulis will start from that pole position tomorrow with Aaron Cameron. This is going to be a big moment for the Australian too, if he can get up there tomorrow and put himself in the box seat for the final race of the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series. Pit lane goes into quiet mode, park firm 8, and the teams will work long into the night here and be back for race number 2 of the TCR World Tour here. Congratulations to Santiago Urrutia.
Gearing up for the podium here at Mount Panorama with our top 3 at the conclusion of a good first day of racing. A hot first day here at Bathurst, and lots to look forward to on your Sunday. Our coverage, of course, still some good things to come your way on Stan.